So I'll say this. I don't know my father at all. So he's not in the picture. Stepdad's throughout my life, but don't know him at all. And fun
How
fact,
how early did your biological dad step out of the picture?
maybe one. I actually have no idea. Like my mom and I don't really discuss this. And like I've never met him. Well, supposedly I met him when I was younger, have no memory of it. And it was when he was in prison and I went to his cell, is what my mom said. So I have no idea. Like all I
Can we
remember is
unpack that, or do you want to move past it as fast as possible?
no, we can unpack it. I don't care. I could talk about this for ages because it's like a stranger to me, you know?
Yeah. How does it
Yeah.
make you feel that you don't know your biological dad?
It makes me, I've always looked at it as a positive because that's just kind of who I am as a person, but more so like, what do I want to be as a dad and what don't I want to be as a dad? You know, like that's not what I want to be. So I've always looked at it like that, but growing up, did it have an effect? I think like if you were to put me in like a very deep therapy session, maybe there's something that you could pull out of me, but still to the surface, like my wife always asks me, and even her parents are like, I'm so sorry that you didn't know him. I'm like, I don't care. I don't know. I'm good. I'm fine. Like I'm doing decently well. I'm a happy guy. Like maybe there's something deeper. And like, I haven't explored that part of me. So
when did your stepfather show into the picture?
I think it was like, let me see, they were together for a while, like a decade. And then they got divorced when I was in college. So probably when I was like 10 or 11. And then they got divorced when I was about 20, 21.
Is he still part of your life at all?
The stepdad?
Yeah.
No. He was awful. He was awful. Oh yeah. He was bad.
Sorry to hear that.
I think, no, it's all part of it. I think my mom just got with him because she was like, it was me and my sister. I also have a brother that a lot of people don't know about, but I have a brother. He's like 8 years older. My mom had a half brother. My mom had him when she was 17, and he's a loose cannon. He's at a bad spot. I spoke to him for the first time in September of this year in about 9 years. Just because he's not a good guy. Not a good guy. A lot of drugs.
Why did you talk to him this year?
My mom thought he died. My mom thought he died because he wasn't responding to her. And she was like, could you please reach out? Yeah. And I mean, heavy drug use, like, and we have tried. He was born in 85. So he was 40 this year. Wow. So a lot of drug use, stuff like that. And we've done so many things. We've given him, full on cars. We've let him live in our house growing up and stuff like that. And he's always found a way to just completely like screw everyone in the family over, like one of those kind of things.
Wow.
And so like for me, maybe I'll regret it if anything ever happens to him, but if I can see him trying to work on himself and better himself, I'd probably want to build like a relationship. But like, he's never met the kids. And he'll probably never meet the kids, to be honest, which is weird. That makes me feel more weird than my dad, because I did have a little bit of a relationship with him growing up and I looked up to him and stuff like that. And then, I think he dropped out of high school at 14 in 9th grade, ran away from my mom's house, went to go live with his dad, who was just like no rules, didn't care about anything kind of thing.
Is his dad your stepdad or a different guy?
Different guy. Totally different guy. Maybe I've met him when I was younger. I have no idea.
Sure.
I know his name's Paul, but that's it.
Okay.
So yeah. So there's that. How do we rewind it back?
Yeah. Well, we started with your dad was out of the picture. Stepdad joined at around 10. So what happened between, early childhood and 10 years old?
Yeah. We weren't made of money at all during that age. So I went from like trailer parks to apartments. And then I think I was about 10 or 11 when we got our first little like 1-story, maybe like 1,400 square foot home out in a town called Roanoke, Texas. If anybody's listening to this and they're in the DFW area, you probably know that town.
Deep West? Is that like El Paso West, or
where
is that?
It's DFW. It's DFW.
Oh, okay.
Right by Fort Worth, literally right next to Fort Worth. So we got a house there. My stepdad he had a job some of the time, and he also just milked my mom's job 80% of the time. So he was a bad guy. He was a bad guy from everything from like an abusive perspective to a drug perspective to a just careless, alcohol. And look, I know people deal with this, and I know that people are struggling with this. So this is not to discredit any of you and I said the same thing about my brother and stuff. So like, not to discredit anyone that's going through that, trying to figure out a way to like help themselves. Like I completely get it's hard and stuff like that. And I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand, right? And so just not a good guy all around. Like I remember several instances of like cops having to come to our house, like that kind of stuff. I feel like I almost like block these out. Like I never think about it, you know? And then let's see,
What was
this was
home
in
life like during all
home
that?
life. Yeah, home life was, I love playing with friends. I
Nice.
just love being outside of the house. So
Yeah.
when I'm thinking back to it, we ended up, when I was like 12 or 12ish, we ended up moving to like this decent sized home. My mom was at like 20 years at this one job. She worked for this one company for about 40 years, started as a typewriter because she couldn't get any other job because she had a kid at 17, dropped out of high school, ended up getting her GED. Worked at a company called Travelers, big insurance company. Again, started as a typewriter, slowly started making more and more money. And I'd say when I went to college, she was making a decent amount. She was pretty high, like director or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But from there, home life was, I wasn't pushed ever in school. I think you and I kind of relate to this. Not, I
Yeah.
don't know if you were pushed or not, but I know that you also had an interesting life growing up too. But
Yeah.
wasn't pushed. I really wish that, like looking back, I really wish that I loved sports, but my stepdad, I didn't ever want to listen to. Like I like hated this guy. So
Mm,
he got me into golf, which was like probably, I tell everybody that's probably the best thing that he did was get me into golf at a young age.
sure.
And yeah, I mean, it was just, home life was, you know, you'd go to school, my mom would work her ass off. So like she was working all day. She gets home, you know, drop us off at school and get back at 6 or 7. And then you know how it is, dude. You have kids, like you're tired. So it's not like there was a lot of quality time.
Mm-hmm.
How's that affect me? I don't know. I would say like my mom and I are not as close. We're close, love my mom to death, but not as close as like my wife and her parents. We have a very weirdly disconnected but connected family. Like we maybe do a family thing once every year, if that, and like it's 10 people that show up, 8 people maybe, like if you take the kids out of the picture. So not a big family at all. Don't know anybody on my dad's side and no sympathy here at all. But I found this out about 2 months ago. My dad, his name was Robert. He has a sister named Cindy, and Cindy hit me up on Facebook, like I said, 2 months ago.
Wow.
And she was like, "Hey, Robbie died in January." And I was like, "What?" And I
Whoa.
literally like immediately, yeah, I called my mom. I was like,
Like
"Hey
your
mom," like,
biological dad?
well, I called my mom and I was like, "Hey, did anyone ever call my dad Robbie?" And she was like, "Yeah, like his siblings and stuff did." And I was like, "I think he's dead." She's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, Cindy just hit me up on Facebook saying Robbie died in January and like she wants you to reach out to her to get some sort of benefit or something like that." So yeah, January of this year, lo and behold, I found out, you know, like 6 months later. And I didn't have any like, it felt weird, you know? Like it
Yeah.
definitely felt, it was like, whoa, like I don't know him at all, but like that's my dad, you know? So really weird feeling. I didn't get too emotional or anything about it. It was just like, whoa, like that's interesting, you know? I can't describe the feeling. So
Yeah.
super weird,
Yeah.
super weird.
That
Yeah.
is weird. That is weird.
You know, you were birthed from him, but you never once had a relationship with him. So really weird.
Yeah,
That happened
there's a
this
family
year.
tree there still, you know.
Yeah.
There's some
I have the
connections,
Munson
some
name.
waves. Yeah.
I always like growing up when I was in college, I was like, I wonder if I should change my name to like my mother's maiden name, which is Hardin, which is a pretty cool last name.
That is a cool
Um,
last name.
yeah, but I was like, I don't know. I've been Munson my whole life. Might as well keep it. But
Yeah.
like my kids will never know any other Munsons besides us. So
Yeah.